Good evening, everyone. This is breaking news on the All About Favor channel. I'm Pastor KZ, and this is a break from the norm. And I felt compelled to say something on some news that I heard earlier today. And that news was that a rapper who's with the group, formerly of the Migos, where I guess that's Cardi B's husband, Offset, and another guy. But the problem is this: when does this foolishness end? This young man, I think he was either 28 or 29 years old, they're over at a bowling alley somewhere shooting dice. Now, somebody got beef with another guy from the group, and what happened was this young man lost his life, got shot in the head. They said blood was everywhere. But I know to some people right now, you're probably thinking, we don't care about no rappers. We don't even know him. They don't celebrate and do anything the right thing. They're just a bunch of thugs. I know two women who this young man meant something to. That is the woman whose womb he was in for 9 months, and the woman whose womb she was in for 9 months, his mother and his grandmother. To those two women, his life mattered. To his sisters and his brothers, his life mattered. To his children, his life mattered. What's wrong with our people? When does this end? Where is the village? We always talk about the village, and we're a family, and we love each other. We support each other. We rally around each other in hard times. Where is the village? I'm wearing a t-shirt that says Black History Month, but it has month crossed out, and it has Black History every year, every day of the year. When does this end? And I know some of you are thinking, what is propelling Pastor K to even talk about this? I'm talking about it because we, those of us who profess to be believers and Christians, we got to start praying for these people. Who's out there to help these people regain a foothold on their spiritual path? Some of these people is never going to set foot in a traditional church. Now, it's a lot of people walking around professing Christ. When and where are you going to start reaching out to them? Just because they may rap, just because they may sing R&B, just because they may lead an alternate lifestyle, whatever it may be, the church is in your heart. The church is not sitting behind four walls in a beautiful mega church or a sanctuary. I always tell my members, who are few in number, but I tell them, the church is a hospital. It's sick people out there, but you know what? It's sick people inside the building. And we have got to learn how to meet people where they are. A lot of people are not going to receive you when you're browbeating them, preaching about they're going to hell and teaching that. We all know that's in God's word, but you got to still meet them where they are. Just like the man of God that aligned himself to the man's chariot when he was reading the word, and he said, I don't understand what I'm reading. Yes, I'm reading the word of God, but what does it mean? And when the man of God began to explain to him and expound on the word to him on a level he can understand it and receive it, then the man asked him, so what would forbid me to be baptized right now? You know, see, we're so caught up in traditionalism and man-made rules and doctrines. You know, you got to stand before the church. Got to get a pastor to get the right hand of fellowship. They got to put it to a vote. All of this parliamentary procedure going on in the house of God. Isn't that awful to feel like you got to be voted into a church? God's house? And then once you get voted in, then you got to go to this membership class. Then you got to be, again, baptized for those who've never been baptized. And then it's got to be set aside on a day when the weather is good. Heaven forbid you go in and it's a little below 70 degrees. But what is wrong with us? What is wrong with the village, y'all? We're losing young men and young women in numbers it's just staggering. And it's so sad. It's so sad. I have compassion in my heart for the people who have lost him. Rest in peace, young man. They call him, his rap name is Takeoff. But may his soul rest in peace. Didn't even get to see his 30th birthday. Life is very short, y'all. It's precious. And we got to still embrace people. We got to still show love. We got to show compassion. And again, I'm asking the question, where is the village? Look at all of the crime in Chicago. You got all of this crime, Houston, Texas. Crime waves everywhere in the black and brown communities. Black on black crime. We killing each other. You sitting around talking about what the police doing and how they murdered George Floyd, how they murdered Breonna Taylor, how they murdered Michael Brown, and the list goes on and on, all the way back to Trayvon Martin. But we can go all the way back to Emmett Till. All of these brothers and sisters who have been murdered, lynched, slaughtered like they were animals, forgotten about, nobody wants to talk about. How much has changed? Only difference is now it's on a global scale because of the media. Y'all, we got to do better. We've got to do better. We got people sitting up in churches will never go out and march for anything. They'll criticize the ones who doing it. But I am sorry. We got to do more, y'all. It used to be a time when they had revivals in the summer. And boy, a bunch of kids would dropped off at the revival. But at least to those people mind, and those older people mind, at least these kids are in a safe space. They're not out somewhere, in the open. They're not out here playing cards, shooting dice, doing things that could perpetuate violence. They figured, well, they're safe at the church. It's sad to say now you're not safe there. They're breaking in the church. They're robbing people in the church. You got violence in the church. You got members fighting against each other. You got members threatening to beat each other up. You got members coming to church with guns in their purses and in their briefcases. Y'all, what's wrong? When does all of this craziness end? Now, I know this is probably not what you wanted to hear today, but I just had to say something. I just could not let today go by without just mentioning, we got to get it together. We've got to come together. We always talking about we got the right to vote. We got a right to bear arms. We constantly quote all of this stuff. Oh, I have civil rights. I have this. I have that. You got to understand something. God's word never changed. And he still talks about love in his word. He still talks about you have to learn to bring people into correction in a godly way. You have to learn how to speak the truth in love. That's what the words say. And sometimes I know some of you are thinking, Pastor KZ, you can't go up to these young people and say nothing to them. They may blow your brains out. That may be true to a certain extent, but you're not going to even try to say anything. I'm going to give you an illustration. I was in the grocery store one day. And a couple of the young ladies that work in the deli department, and of course, they didn't look like quote unquote church girls. The lashes is out to here, the nails, the coffin nails are out to here, and the hair was orange, one hair was purple, and they were talking about clubbing, etc., etc. Although I will digress and say this, sometimes you can't tell the difference between the church girls and street girls, bar girls and club girls, because now they all running together looking alike. I'm just saying. Used to be a time when you can tell the difference. You can't anymore. So it was an older lady, an elderly lady of a different race, and she says, may I try and get a sample of this ham, because I bought some last week, but it wasn't what I thought it was. It was too salty for me. And one of the young ladies said, well, we ain't going to be slicing nothing up. She was very rude to the lady. And I stood there, and I didn't look at her as a lady of a different race. I looked at this woman as if she was my grandmother, and they were speaking to my grandmother, because respect is still due to our elderly. And I looked at both young ladies, and they was laughing, and they were saying some, vulgar words and just being very rude and disrespectful to the lady. And it was other women standing around of color with me, and they were laughing and talking about, yeah, just calling the lady out her name and stuff. And they had nothing to do with it anyway. They don't work there. But I said to both young ladies, I said, excuse me, both of you, can you come here, please? And it was lots of people working that day in the deli. And they stepped over and they said, yes, ma'am, mama, what's going on? I said, first of all, did you hear how you spoke to that lady? Do you have grandmothers? Is either one of your grandmothers still alive? And they both said, oh, yes, ma'am, mama. My granny's still alive. My mother's still here, both of them said. And I said, how would you feel if they came in this store and they asked this same question, and the people working back there spoke to her the way y'all just did this lady? And then they went on to say, oh, I'll beat them up, or I'll do this and that. And I say, exactly. That lady is somebody's grandmother. I said, young ladies, that's not the way to speak to people. It's unprofessional, and it's rude, and it's disrespectful. And one of them, tears began to fall. And the other one looked at her, and she touched her, and she said, sis, you good? And she said, mama, I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you, because I didn't look at it that way. And they both asked, can I give you a hug? And I gave them both a hug. And they hugged me real strong and embraced. And one of them, the other one said, Mom, I just done lost my way. I just wasn't thinking. And they both apologized to the lady. And everybody standing around looking at that, all they could say was, well, you better than me, girl, because I wouldn't have said nothing to them. But you see, where's the village? Where is the village? Everybody went mad when Monique was saying, young ladies, don't go out the house with a bonnet on your head and your pajamas and your bedroom slippers. It was people bashing Monique for saying that. Where are the women that used to bring us into correction? When we used to go to church and them old ladies pull your dress tail and say, baby, where your slip? Or your slip hanging? Where are those women? Where are those women that say that's not how a young lady talk? Where are those people? And I know they are all not dead. It's some still around. But where's the village, y'all? When does it end? You got young men still walking around with pants sagging in their 30s, in their 40s, and they look ridiculous. And some may know what it means, and some may not know what it means. But where are the older men? Are they all sitting around in their 40s, 50s, and 60s trying to look like they in their 20s? Granddaddy's trying to look like their grandsons still. Y'all, we got to do better. We've got to do better. I'm not here to preach to you and bash anybody, but we need to come together, y'all. We got to come together. Thank you for watching today, and just thank you for listening at my little rant. I had to say, I had to get this off of my heart today. Now, continue to subscribe and watch. Please hit the thumbs up button and like the videos. Share the videos with other people. And we're getting close to my 2,000. So, as I've been promising, the female that gets me to 2,000 subscribers will get this mug from Pastor KZ. And the man that gets me to 2,001, he too will get a mug. So you got to make sure you send those emails in. The email address, walk in, the letter N, walkinfavor61@yahoo.com. Please also check out my website, and it's walkinfavor61.org. Now, also continue with your emails for Testimony Tuesdays and Tell the Truth Thursdays, which is coming up. And just remember, Wednesday is reset day. I don't do very long videos, but I had to say something. I had to say something in regards to this matter. Again, we wear all of these Black History shirts, Black Lives Matter, all of these maps of Africa. We wear all of this stuff. We wear all of this ethnic jewelry. You know, a lot of people wear dreads and don't even know what they signify. We got to do better as a people. And for those of you who look at people and judge them by their appearance, we got to stop doing that. You look at people and say, oh, look at his hair. He don't try to get a haircut. He's dread-headed. You know how many attorneys got dreads? You know how many people got locks? You got to stop judging people by what they look like. I'm so glad that people have nowhere that they can put me. I'm so glad that when I stand before the real judge, there's just some things, because we all got to give an account for what we do on this side. But you know what? We got to give an account to keep our community lifted up. We've got to raise our standards, and we've got to demand that the standards of our young people be raised. You know, the civil rights movement was born inside of a church. You got pastors afraid to preach from the pulpit. You know, go out and vote. You got pastors in the pulpit won't say anything about the crime wave or about embracing, empowering, and mentoring the young men and the young women. You got little boys that need mentors. You got little girls that need role models. Because there are a lot of kids out there in foster homes, in group homes, are just left living with their grandmother, who's too sick and too old to try to raise them now. You got 70 and 80-year-old people trying to raise 8 and 9-year-old kids. Y'all, we got to do better. People do make mistakes, and sometimes people do need a helping hand. But what we got to do is, I heard this expression, Reverend Jesse Jackson uses it a lot. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat one day. But if you teach a man to fish, he can go and feed himself for a lifetime. We've got to stop coddling, making excuses for what's going on in the lives of our youth. And we've got to teach them right from wrong. Whether they want to hear it or not, we still got to tell them. You got parents letting the children tell them what they're going to do. You got parents asking the children, you want to wash dishes today? Or you got to pay them $5 to wash dishes. In my day, when I was growing up, you wasn't asked your opinion on anything. Even down to what show coming on we going to watch on TV tonight as a family. That's just not how it was. You just knew what the house rules were, because there were rules. There was structure in the home. And then there were disciplinary actions when you did not meet the stipulations and the requirements of what you were told to do. You got children now. They come up in homes where there's no structure. There's no discipline. They go to bed whenever they want to. They're on their phones all night long. To me, I don't understand what a 7, 8-year-old, 9-year-old child is doing with an iPhone 14. I just don't understand with a child with a $1,400 cell phone that can barely read, can barely say their alphabet. But they can get on that cell phone and text and play games and all of this other stuff. And they can't read. Y'all, we got to do better. We're a village. We come from strength. We are a strong race of people. and we got to do better. We are a praying race of people. We are a race of people that we get dressed up on Sundays and we head to the house of prayer. And most of the time we leave it right there. We've got to do better. Thank you all for watching. And I just ask you, please pray for our nation. Pray for our people. You know, we're fighting not just against the police brutality, the white supremacists who making threats to go to the polls, you know, in the minority neighborhoods and commit different crimes. But we don't need to be fighting against each other. And y'all, can I just say this? When God blesses you and elevates you and pull you out and away from something, there are just some people you can't take with you. You must change playmates and play toys. I know somebody know what I'm talking about. I think about MC Hammer. Used to have over 30, 40 people on the stage with him. Guess what? He said he was cutting checks for everybody because he was trying to bring his crew, his neighborhood with him, his brothers and sisters from the hood. And he ended up bankrupt. These were people on payroll, weren't doing nothing but standing on the stage. Now, these young men shooting dice, they didn't need no money. You got millionaire status. When you are of millionaire status and God elevates you from the hood and from the ghetto, you can still support your hood. You can still help your hood. But it doesn't mean you still go back to the hood and do the same thing. See, this is the problem, the mindset. See, some people just got that hood street mentality, and you just a hood street mentality person with a bunch of money, and you don't know what to do with it. So you fall back into what you're familiar with. You know, it doesn't dawn on some of these rappers, hey, I'm going to take me a couple of online classes. You know, learn the business that I'm in so that I won't be broke after this one hit that I've done. Where are the mentors telling them this? Somebody in the entertainment business need to start pulling these young men and young ladies' coattails. I remember Diana Ross wanted to mentor Beyonce, and she said, baby, I'm telling you, you don't have to take off, you don't have to be half naked to make a record, be a hit singer. You know, where are the old school people coming in telling the young folks, hey, this is what worked for us? You know, what Rihanna and them are doing, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, all of them, that ain't the first time this been done before. We've had in certain eras Salt and Pepper. We've had Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin. We had some true divas back in the day. But we didn't hear about them all just out there doing all kind of crazy stuff. We had athletes that we looked up to, who were ambassadors to the sport. All of this stuff we seeing now, what happened? And when does it end? When do we as a people get reeled back in? Just think about that. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm not doing this for a whole lot of likes because I'm sure I probably won't get a bunch. May not get a lot of views on this one. They may click on and click right up, but it's okay. But if one or two people hear me, hit the thumbs up for me. Comment. I was going to do a live, but I'm going to hold off and wait before I do a live. But thank you again for watching. Always, you got to stay focused. Keep your mind in the right place. Stay favored. Always walk in favor. Do you not know you got the favor of God on your life? Walk in that. Walk in favor. Speak declarations over your life. Speak positivity over your life. Encourage yourself. You can't sit around and wait for somebody else to pour into you and encourage you, because you might not find that. Love yourself. It starts with self-love and learning to respect yourself. You know, we were taught respect in the homes. We didn't go to school and expect for the teachers to discipline us and to teach us things. All the teachers when we went to school were supposed to do was teach us the fundamentals of getting an education. Everything else, how to respect people, how to speak to people in the morning, how to greet people, greeting skills, all of those things were taught in our home. You say good morning when you enter a room. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? And actually stand there and wait for somebody to give you a response. Now the greeting skill is yo, what up? And they keep it moving. Or they don't greet you at all. We got to get back. We got to get back. We got to take our youth back. You got to say, devil, you can't have my grandchildren. You're not going to have my sons, devil. Every time a black male leave his home, you better be covering him. Every time a black young lady walk out that door, you better cover her. Do you know sex trafficking is real? People are riding around in vans trying to kidnap women. Now, you know if Shirley Strawberry on the Steve Harvey morning show, they tried to get her, tried to snatch her from the mall. This is a real thing. We got to take our communities back. We have got to be the village. Have a wonderful day. Stay prayed up. And remember, tune into the All About Favor channel. We've got some good things going. We also have some fun days with our sports updates. So I have different aspects and different things I'm incorporating into the show. So please, log in. Tell somebody else about it. Again, be blessed and walk in favor. I'll see you later.